Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second episode of the Steambudds podcast. My name is Thomas and James, and I'm here again with...
End of your films, me!
So today, in the second episode, we're going to be talking about every hit era character. So every hit era newbie. So from season 9 to season 12.
Yay!
Yay! So do you have anything else to add to that?
Yeah, obviously, some of the characters I could talk about for hours, while others I got only one sentence about, but I'll try and keep it brief for the characters that I have a lot to say about.
Oh, Dennis.
So...
oh, that's going to be a doozy. Oh, Dennis.
I don't actually think I have that much to say about them, but well.
Then I'm interested in seeing which one you have a lot to talk about.
So...
Because I have a few. Yeah.
I suppose we just jump right in and we go production order, not production order, but like as released order. And so the first new character to appear was in the episode Molly's Special in season 9, which is of course Molly. And before we start talking about the actual character or anything about Molly, I think we all should give a thank you to the prop team for realizing that the original face design was absolutely disgusting. It made her look extremely fat and ugly, so I'm glad that they decided to change that and make the face a little bit more, reasonable.
The fat shaming is crazy. No, but I completely agree with you. I'm sad that they didn't use it, but for some reason I do like the old face on the merchandise. Yeah,
it's like... I don't think it's the size of the face that is the problem, because I think if you just took the regular face and just sized it up... Because one thing I do have a problem with Molly is the fact that she does have that smoke box ring around the face, even though all of the other characters do cover the entirety of the smoke box.
It's cool, so but it's not consistent. It's not consistent.
So in some ways I do like the original face, but at the same time, I simply just don't like the face. It's nothing that it's fat or anything. It's the fact that it's just ugly. So honestly, me saying fat and ugly, it's just ugly.
Yeah. You wanna know what I... Wow, my English, Jesus Christ. You wanna know what I did realize? I think the crew really, really liked the Molly prop. Because the Molly prop reappears so much, not with speaking roles, but just as a background engine. It appears so much. It's crazy. I was like... I've written down a lot. Oh, yeah. Nice to see Molly again. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, she only speaks in 3 episodes. But I do find it funny that she appears so much. And she's mentioned in 1 song. So that is something. I do find it funny how...
Which song?
She appears so much. She appears in the There's Always Something New song. They say Molly or something. There's always
something new to see.
Yeah.
That's a fun song. I really like that one.
Yeah. And one funny thing is that technically Molly first appeared in Thomas's milkshake model as a little cameo, because technically Thomas's milkshake model is first in the viewing experience of season 9. That appears first, so...
Really?
Kind of, yeah. So that's a little fun thing. At least in the UK order. I'm not sure about the United States. I don't really care about Americans, so...
Yeah, no one cares.
Know.
We've roasted them before.
Yeah. Anyway, I noticed on the wiki
page
that
To any Americans listening, I apologize. We do like you. We don't like where you live.
Okay. But I noticed on the wiki page at least some nicknames that Molly has. The title of Molly is Molly the Yellow Engine, but some of the nicknames are kind of funny. You have Molly the Mighty Engine. That is interesting.
Really?
Yeah, I wonder where they got that from. The Book of Big Engines is where they say they got that information
Molly
from.
the Mighty Engine. That's just showing how little character Molly actually has.
Then we have Molly the Very Special Engine. Okay.
Whoa. Well, actually, that fits more with the episode because about the special train.
And then there's Molly the Dolly Engine, which I have no idea where they got from. But
Dolly.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't get that one either.
Anyway, I think enough talk about all the background information and stuff about Molly. I think we should finally talk about Molly herself. And we should probably speed it up so that we don't make this a 2-hour-long podcast.
Hey, listen, if it's a 2-hour podcast, that's not our problem. It's the problem of the people who are listening. Oh, I just read on the wiki, last appearance, the great discovery.
Yeah, she only appeared on top of the bridge.
Oh, Molly. Okay, well, what's Molly's character?
Well, she's shy.
And she
at least
she cares a lot about what other engines think of her.
I mean, she's compassionate, at least based on some of the magazine stories that I like briefly touched upon. She's compassionate, she's like kind, she's generous. But most importantly, I think most of her character comes in form of her spotlight episode, Molly's Special, which I think really showcases her character, that she is a quite shy engine and a quite self-conscious engine that really judges herself and stuff. So I do think Molly is quite interesting, because I don't think there are many engines on the island who are that open about their feelings. I think the only one that comes close is like Percy, but like Molly is like special because she's a big engine, and you don't normally see big engines, or at least tender engines, being this open about their feelings. Like you have some engines like Henry, who just refuses to talk about their feelings. You have some engines like James, who
it's kind of a self-acceptance story.
Yeah, it is kind of. I watched this episode for this, and I do find it kind of almost strange, but also kind of not. That what sets Molly off is that Emily made some random comment about how pulling dirty trucks, no, not dirty trucks, but just pulling empty trucks is not really special. And like that's just an average Emily comment. I don't think anyone would really care. Like if this was like Thomas, he would not really care. Like that's just average Emily. But like the fact that Molly just completely stops doing work, she just stands still. She just completely has like a mental breakdown because of this. That I think that says a lot about just this tiniest of comment towards Molly can really just ruin her
that
entire
does
day.
show her history. I wonder what happened with her to make her so sensitive.
You know, so one thing the narrator says is that Molly has big wheels. They're not really that big, but the fact that the narrator says that indicates to me that her wheels or something is some kind of important. And Emily is very well known for having her single big driving wheel. So maybe Emily was threatened by the fact that Molly, she has 2 big wheels. Well, that's not cool. Whoa, not cool.
Whoa.
Cool. I'm going to
I'm the only one who has to be big wheels. I'm the only plus-size model on this island.
Jesus Christ.
But maybe, we're going to get cancelled.
You are. What a...
Yeah.
So I think that could really just... Maybe Emily felt threatened by it. Maybe she just felt the need to just bring this engine back down to earth. And it also, like Molly does look like a really pretty engine. She's painted in this really pretty yellow, and she's very glamorous. She's like obviously like an old engine. Like she's the same like wheel configuration as Edward, obviously like from the Victorian era. So she's obviously like an old engine. So I do think she probably was an express engine. I'm only assuming. So maybe back on her old railway, she was held at a really high standard. Therefore, she always had like.
That's kind of what DCB12 actually went into with his train story about Molly. Former express engine. Have you seen that one? DCB12.
I don't think so.
You should watch it. It's pretty good. He's the narrator that narrates literally every single video workshop video right now.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, yeah, him. Yeah.
He made a train story about Molly, which I liked. It was fun.
Maybe I should watch that. If it touches upon how, at least this is my interpretation. Is
no,
that the
it's
fact
exactly
that Molly...
your interpretation. That she was that she was a former express engine, at least. That's literally the title of the episode.
Former express engine. Oh.
Yeah.
But does it touch upon like the fact that maybe Molly was pressured by a lot of the other engines and especially the managers to keep up her appearance and make sure that like she was an express engine?
No, it was. I think it was. If I remember correctly, it was more about her. Other engines looking down upon her because she chose this specific color.
Oh,
that's what it was about. So it was literally a racist story
Oh.
It was just like, oh, you're a very weird yellow color, which we've never seen before. I don't like you, so you're not allowed on expresses again.
Oh, wow.
And then she was I think she was a private engine, and then she ended up on Sodal.
That's an interesting take.
It is.
But back to what I was saying is that like an express engine like Gordon, and like how he's kept to such a high standard, like he's the top link engine and stuff.
Yeah.
Like imagine a shy engine like Molly being held to that same standard, and then she comes to Sodor where she's like free, like yeah, you don't have to pull expresses, you can pull goods. She's still going to be in the mentality of an express engine, like I have to be doing the most proper work and stuff, and she's so shy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to be perfect. And when Emily then shows up and trashes her for pulling empty trucks, that like completely destroys her, and she thinks, "Oh no, I'm useless. I don't fit into this place." And I don't want to drag on too long, but then I have to touch upon how Thomas fits into all of this, and how he does kind of help, but also completely ruins the situation and makes it 10 times worse.
Yeah, that I noticed that as well.
Because
Thomas just screws everything. Literally, what Thomas should have done is just add the tops and then just not tell anyone about the special. That's what he should have done, but he didn't. He just added everything to the train and told everyone like, oh yeah, Molly's pulling this special. Wait till you see that Abbey station. And everybody's just like, oh really? Oh, that's so interesting.
I think Thomas got a little bit carried away because he was like, oh, I can make this a special. Oh, I can make this like really grand thing and stuff, and I'm going to be there and stuff. So I think Thomas was thinking about a little bit about himself too, and so he's like, oh, this is also my special, guys. Like, it's not just Molly's and stuff. And then he realizes, oh no, and then he goes up and fixes the mess and stuff. But yeah, you're completely right. If Thomas was like, if Edward was in that situation, he would just cover up the trucks and then they would be off to the coaling plant.
Yeah.
That would have made Molly way better. Feel way better.
I think that's enough about Molly's character. How would you rewrite her or the episode? Because I have a very specific idea. I've also been kind of writing it with the hit era mentality.
Ooh.
Because it is the hit era, of course. So my idea was, instead of having an episode with her and Thomas, I would have actually coupled her with Emily.
Oh,
because they're both pretty grand episodes. Because they're both pretty grand, and what happens is, because Molly's pulling such a simple train, Emily, who is guiding her on the island, keeps standing up to her. And at some point, Molly's like, hey, I have a voice too. So it's an Emily episode. It's basically Emily undermining Molly.
Mm.
And then Emily learning, basically, that she's not the main character.
Okay, yeah.
So Molly is shy. So even in the original episode, Thomas usually speaks for her.
Yeah.
Molly doesn't say anything, but in this episode, in my version, it would be more like Molly eventually standing up to the person who's standing up for her. To other engines.
Then I would like to know, why would Emily stand up for Molly if Emily made fun of Molly for pulling empty trucks?
That's the thing. We removed the fact that Emily said that because it was a toss-away gag in the beginning of the episode. I would just have Emily and Molly. I don't know. I think it would be a good pairing.
Oh, it definitely is a good pairing, and if I remove the context from the original episode, then I do think that's a really good rewrite of the episode.
That's how I'm thinking. That's how I'm thinking it. And it's still with the hit era style of it being very simple.
Yeah.
It's very surface level.
But I do really think that story that you said is a really good idea. The idea of Emily standing up for Molly, but Molly realizing that I can actually stand up for myself. I don't need you to stand up for me.
Yeah.
Then if this was hit era Emily, I don't think she would stand up for Molly. I think maybe replace Emily with either Edward or Henry, potentially, maybe. Because I feel those engines would more likely stand up for Molly. But at the same time, I do get what you are saying with Emily and Molly being both grand engines and stuff.
The reason I think Emily fits perfectly in that situation is because Emily is also a bit high class and she's very, very outspoken in the hit era. Very outspoken. Yeah. She is a very hard-headed character. And because suddenly this other very unique and bold engine comes and she's a bit shy, Emily would be like, oh, I want to be friends with them. I think that would be Emily's mentality. That's why I think Emily and Molly fit so good together in this story. And then Emily learns, oh, I'm not the main character.
Maybe it's, yeah, I get that. Maybe it's more that Emily hears like this grand express engine coming to the island and she thinks maybe she can help me become more grand because like she probably has connections to high people and stuff. So maybe Emily thinks like I should be friends with her because she can help me. Then eventually Molly realizes that you don't actually want to be friends with me. You just want to be friends with me because I'm an express engine. If I wasn't an express engine, you wouldn't be friends with me. And then Emily can have a realization moment and like,
yeah, that's good. I really like that.
And then maybe Emily decides, you know what? Maybe I can just be friends with her without actually worrying about expresses and stuff. And maybe by the end, Emily has to take an empty coal train to the coal yards.
And she learns humility.
No, Emily would never learn humility.
That is true.
But Molly only speaks in 2 other episodes. One is in Thomas Sets Sail, where she does absolutely nothing except warn Thomas. But the other one is a little bit more interesting, and I'm not going to drag on too much about this. But one character dynamic that I've actually written a story for, that I want to make at some point, is that there's a scene where Henry goes looking for his lucky trucks, of course, and then he gets stopped by some pipes on the line. And then it's James and Molly who are clearing up the mess. And when I look at the scene, it looks like James. Bashed the trucks too hard and the pipes fell, and then Molly arrived with the breakdown train. At least, like, the episode doesn't imply anything, but like the fact that James is the one pulling the train and Molly is there with Rocky, it at least looks like James just had an accident and then Molly had to come and help him because James didn't bother to go get Rocky himself. But like, at least a character dynamic that I really want to like focus more on in my own stuff is James and Molly, because you have Molly who is very shy about herself and suppresses her, like tries to suppress who she actually is, and then you have James who is not shy at all. Yeah, he's not shy at all. He's very vocal about himself, thinks he's the grandest engine of all, and so I think pairing those two up would be pretty fun. Seeing how Molly would be very like not intimidated, but like very like scared and shy of James, while James is like boasting and like saying he's the pride of the line and stuff, and then they work together and then James crashes and dies and then Molly has to rescue him or something. I don't know, just thinking of an average hitter episode.
No, honestly, I think Molly would look up to James, actually.
That could be a thing too, where Molly looks up to how open James is.
Yeah, I think that's a bit better, actually.
Could be, and then she realizes that James is full of shit.
James is just a stupid asshole. He can't do shit, and I have to clean up all his crap. So he's cool, but he's kind of mid. But that's enough about Molly.
Yeah, I think that's enough about Molly. Jesus, let's go to 20 minutes.
Hey, listen. If needed, we can do a part 2 to this. It's not the end of the world.
Oh no, I'm gonna do it all now.
Oh dear, this is going to be a 3-hour episode. Okay.
Anyway, next character.
Mighty Mac.
Ooh, I do like Mighty Mac.
I love Mighty Mac. Rest in peace, little giant.
Yeah, rest in peace, little giant. I think the most significant thing I can say about Mighty Mac. Okay, so first off, let's go into some backstory. Not backstory, but like some trivia and stuff by Mighty Mac before we actually talk about him. He's a double fairly engine, which is really unique. He probably killed and stole the identity of Little Giant. And he was like, ha ha ha, I'm going to be famous, and then Little Giant faded into obscurity.
Probably, yeah.
Probably. He's actually one of the few hit era characters where the Spotlight episode was about him. and not about some other character. Yeah.
You know, Mighty Mac gave me kind of Donald and Douglas vibes. And specifically the CGI rivalry they have.
Yeah, I totally get that.
That's what I see. At first I was like, it kind of feels like Bill and Ben, but Bill and Ben are worse. No, it
Bill
was
and
more
Ben
like
are way worse.
Bill and Ben are fucking terrorists.
Yeah, they.
One thing in the episode,
I totally get what you mean.
Yeah. One thing in the episode I'm still confused about to this day is how the fuck did the coach get behind them in the mountains?
The people just carried it.
You're telling me the people, instead of just having the coach on the track there, the people took it off the track, spent more time moving it to the behind Mighty Mac, and then just placing it there.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened.
What? It's so confusing. I still don't get it to this day, but you know.
It's for story purposes so that Mighty Mac actually cleared the rocks on the line. But back to what you were saying about CGI Donald Douglas. I totally agree with you on how they act. Like, they don't act like they hate each other. They just sometimes get into small not rivalries, but just small, like, arguments. Because...
Especially in the episode Love Me Tender.
Yeah, 100%. But the way this feels is that they are having trouble to like work together, and like they are built as one engine. So that makes me feel like that gives me the feeling that they are kind of new, like they are newly built engines for the Skarloey Railway.
It gives me the feeling it's kind of a metaphor for conjoined twins. That's what it is.
That is kind of. I mean, that is exactly what it is. They are conjoined twins.
The struggles of having to be connected your entire life.
Yeah, and it gives me the impression that they are very new, because they just got built, or they just like got another engine added onto them or something, and then they are very new to the railway. At least that's what it at least seems like. It seems like they aren't really used to taking passengers. They aren't really used to going outside of the yard and stuff. They aren't used to getting so many decisions to make on themselves. So they have trouble like figuring out what the best decision is. So like, out of all the new Hit Era characters, these feel like a new engine. Like these feel like Mighty Mac feels like they just got out of the factory and now they're put to work, and now like, okay, which way do we go? I say right. No, I say left.
Yeah,
because they don't know how to. Yeah, they are very confused about life, and they don't. They don't know what to do.
Learn to work together.
Yeah.
Ooh, and you want to know something? Okay, you first.
No. You go first.
You want to know what I realized in this episode specifically? I was watching it, and my brain, something just clicks in my brain, and I was like, they have no driver.
No.
And then I watched Molly's episodes, and I was like, Molly has no driver. And then I watched all the other Hit Era Newbie episodes, and I was like, none of them have a driver. and literally, you can watch every single video, and none of them has a driver. None.
No, they don't.
No, they don't. I just realized that, and I was like, what? Okay.
It's the Hit Era. I don't really. It doesn't really matter. No,
but I always remembered the Hit Era having drivers, but that's because I've watched more of season 8 than the other ones, and in season 8 they still use the drivers. So I don't know if they just decided when season 9 started, people are not needed.
I mean,
they're not.
I don't think adding a driver to a bunch of the Hit Era Newbie stories would change that much.
No. But still, it's a detail. But yeah, what is Mighty Mac's character?
Well, I definitely get the impression that Mac is the younger of the two, which is weird to say.
No, I see
they're
that.
conjoined twins. but it definitely feels like Mighty is older.
Maybe Mighty's side was constructed before Max.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. And maybe... Oh, sorry, microphone. It definitely feels like Mac is older. And I know you compare them to conjoined twins, but they have vastly different facial structure and facial features. Like, Mac has freckles, while Mighty has, like, this flesh hair that he has, like... I know it's supposed to be hair, but it's, like, molded into, like, the face itself. So he has, like, this ugly flesh hair. So, maybe it's not the fact that they are conjoined twins, but they are more, like, maybe Mighty was built first, and then Mac was later attached onto Mighty, and that's why they have trouble working. Maybe they're not a new engine, actually. Maybe they're not a new engine.
Maybe
they are just two engines who got into an accident, maybe, and then they were, to save their life, they were conjoined together.
They're trauma recovery.
They were recovering from trauma.
New fan story, Mighty Mac's PTSD war experience.
So, yeah, maybe to save their life, they had to be conjoined together, and that's why they're struggling so much to work together. Because at the same time, if they were built as one engine together, then they would learn, they would probably be built with the knowledge that they were together, and that... And also, the other thing that is making me think that maybe... right now, is because, at least in the Railway series, like, a character like Boko has two faces, but they're, like, the same personality. Yeah, Boko has two faces in the Railway series, but, like, they're the same personality.
I did not know
that's the same character, basically. And, like, the Coldy Fell engines, that's probably an easier example. Like, they have two faces, like, obviously. But, like, that's not a different character on the back. That's still the same guy. Like, Coldy's cab, that's still Coldy. But, like, with Mighty Mac, they have different personalities on both ends, which makes me probably think maybe they aren't the same engine. Maybe they are two separate engines which were rebuilt together, which is why they have two different personalities.
Oh, the history behind Mighty Mac.
And that is why Mighty acts older, because Mighty was probably built first.
This is oozing of potential.
Yeah, if someone actually locked in and made a Mighty Mac movie... It could be epic, because I think they have a lot of potential.
Now, how would you propose to rewrite Mighty? Because we're dragging on a lot.
I mean, I wouldn't rewrite it. I think the story works well as it is.
You know, I haven't written anything down in that section, so I completely agree.
I don't think this is a story that really needs rewriting. I think, seeing as Mighty Mac already has the spotlight, I think it works. Like, it is a good story about them.
It is a good story about sibling rivalries, and I like it. Yeah, I really liked rewatching Mighty Mac.
Yeah, it was a fun episode, and the last thing I can say about Mighty Mac is that their merchandise fucking rules. Like, they have some of the coolest merchandise ever.
Bachmann, please make a Mighty Mac model. Please.
They would never, but then again, please do it.
They made fucking Yellow Rheneas, like... They made Stanley. Just give them time. Give them time.
I'll give them time.
Maybe in 2040 we'll see Mighty Mac appear.
We can only dream. Anyway, next character.
Hello! Is that the next character? I don't remember.
That is the next character, yeah.
It's either that one or Proteus.
No, it's Neville.
Oh, Neville. Oh, how you do not have a character.
Or as like some of his nicknames says, Neville the New Engine, or Neville the Friendly Engine.
Oh, Neville.
I mean, I guess he's friendly. Or some of his nicknames, Clumsy Wheels, which he was called by Ari and Bert. Neville
Nearly there. Nearly there.
Watch where you're going, Clumsy Wheels. Neville only has three lines of dialogue.
Yeah, I know.
Three lines of dialogue.
Oh, nicknames, Clumsy Wheels. Gender, like, male, no one cares.
He only says, hello, hello,
what really, really sucks about Neville? Because Neville doesn't really have a character, so I'm just gonna skip over that. immediately
he's
into-
nice.
Dude, please, come on. He's
No,
nice.
no.
He almost fucking died.
On his first day.
Never has PTSD on his first day. That's so funny.
He probably has a lot of PTSD considering when he was built.
But you know what annoys me with Neville so much?
His face.
This could have been the best don't judge a book by its cover episode ever. Like, they literally say in the episode, Neville looks like a diesel. They could have done something with that. They could have done something with other engines looking down on them, on Neville, because of how they look. That's literally what they did with Harvey. Only they shouldn't have done it with Harvey, because I still don't like that Edward was racist to Harvey in that episode.
I wouldn't call it being racist.
It was just discriminatory. It's so out of character for Edward. I don't like that.
Yeah. Also, Harvey's like a steam engine. I don't think. Why would they? Well, let's not talk about Harvey now. Let's talk about Neville.
You know what I would have done?
What?
You know, the Q ones have proven that they are really reliable. What I would have done is wrote a story about all the engines looking down on Neville, and then Neville doing this gigantic thing, which no one expected him to do, and then he gets respect. And then at the end of the episode, they could say, "Oh yeah, I guess you don't judge a book by its cover." That would have been so perfect, but instead it was about Thomas being stupid.
I mean, I wouldn't say Thomas is stupid. I mean, Thomas tells James that, like, hey, I saw Neville hanging out with Ari and Bird. And James, being James, obviously over-exaggerates this and says, Neville was being best friends with Ari and Bird, who are diesels.
Listen to me. I don't like that line. I think it's a bullshit line when Thomas said, I only said I saw them with Ari and Bird. That's not fucking true. That's not true.
Thomas
you
literally
said, and I quote, he said to James, I saw Neville with Ari and Bert and they were laughing together. Like, if you would have just left out they were laughing together, the rumour wouldn't have spread. But you know, Thomas, it is your fault. You are the dickhead in this situation.
Yeah.
You are an asshole.
Yeah. But one thing that I don't understand why they didn't do in this episode is, so Neville puffs into Abbey Station. He pulls Annie and Clarabelle.
Yeah.
Why didn't they have Thomas freak out and like fucking almost kill him? Because we know what Thomas acts like when another engine pulls Annie and Clarabelle. Why couldn't we have a scene where Thomas was like, "Fuck you, Neville"?
No, they couldn't. They couldn't have done that, or else the crash wouldn't have happened.
No, and then Neville runs away crying, and then Thomas remembers. Oh wait!
No, they already did that. It's literally no, they did that with Emily.
Yeah,
they did the exact thing you just said. The exact thing you just said. They did that with Emily. Only not about Annie and Clarabelle, but about him being friends with. Oh, I know you're going to biff into all the steamies. Like, yeah, like Thomas is just like, I'm not talking to you.
Yeah, but I think now. We joke about how Neville has no personality. He does have some personality. He's nice, and he is very forgiving. Well, I mean, Thomas did save his life, so I guess he would be very forgiving after that. Like,
but it's also Thomas's fault that he ended up in that situation. Still love the amount of rule breaking in that episode when James crosses under the broken bridge. You know.
Yeah. You know, the funny thing about that scene is that the track James was on was a siding, which means James was probably waiting under that bridge for Neville to arrive. and then he puffed away, thinking my job here is done, and then he left. It was all James's plan.
This is proof that James is God. He knew that Neville was going to crash and was just like, I need to sit there and see it. I have to see this. This is going to be so much fun. I have to witness this attempted murder.
No. I imagine that, like, obviously in the episode it wasn't there, but, like, in the episode, James was probably also at Abbey Station, and when the Fat Controller said, like, Thomas, you have to warn engines about the broken bridge, James knew that Thomas wouldn't warn anyone about it, because, like, James knows Thomas, and so he decided, I'm going to wait at the broken bridge and see what happens. And then Neville crashes and he's like, God damn it, Thomas, I knew you. You're so stupid.
Oh, yeah. That's so
also,
good.
Neville's last appearance in the episode Best Friends, where he says, the brass band is arriving at Brendam Docks this afternoon.
Is that season 12?
That is season 12. What a fire line of dialogue to go out on. Like honestly, he appeared in the last episode, and he's like a really informative engine. Like, he tells Thomas and Percy, like, the brass band is arriving at Brendam Docks this afternoon.
You know, at least they used them. At least.
But, like, can we just thank Neville for that, for giving that information? Like, Thomas and Percy, they didn't even ask for it. They were just chilling. And then Neville just puffs in and says, the brass band is arriving at Brendam Docks this afternoon.
Yeah.
Like, thank you, Neville. Like, honestly, just thanks, man.
Okay, but I've said what I would do with Neville. What would you do with Neville?
So, the thing is, the most stuff I would do with Neville happens after the episode. Because while the episode itself isn't about Neville, I do think having this introduction story about Neville not being trusted and stuff, like, I haven't written much down how I would rewrite Thomas and the new engine, because then obviously the episode, it isn't about Neville. It's about an engine spreading rumors and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
I think what I would do with Neville is probably touch upon the fact, like, he is a Q1 built during World War II.
No, but you can't go into that in a kid's show. You have to look from the perspective of the creators.
And then I say, fuck the children, and I write a Railway series book about Neville instead. Then I add Neville into the Railway series, and he's an ex-ROD engine.
You know, I can see that happening. You know.
No, Neville is never appearing again. He's gone forever.
No, Neville is gone.
And
still funny that the prop store just casually finished his unfinished model. You know.
I mean, thanks, prop store, but it would have been more valuable if you just
not touched
didn't do that.
You dick.
So, there isn't really a lot to say about Neville. He has some really fire merchandise, like Arian Bird, but otherwise, he exists. I've written a couple stories about him, some I'm planning on releasing soon. But
really?
Yeah.
That's good.
I won't say much, but I'm gonna be pairing Neville up with an engine that I know a lot of people in the fandom have paired him up with, so that'll be fun.
If it's fucking Dennis.
No, it's not Dennis.
Okay, good. You're being original at least.
I would say pairing Neville up with Dennis would be more original. And speaking of Dennis...
No, we're not talking about Dennis next. We're talking about Proteus first.
Oh. Well, what is there to say about Proteus? He has a magic lamp.
He's an old engine.
And then he gets a statue built about him. So he must have done something important. Maybe he was maybe it was the ghost engine who fell off the old iron bridge.
Oh my god! I wanted to touch into that actually. Literally, the proposal I wrote down was linking him with Duncan Gets Spooked.
I think that is probably one of the easiest and probably makes the most sense thing to do with Proteus, because you have two narrow gauge saddle tank engines who are mysterious and ghost-like. Why wouldn't you connect them and make them both like interchangeable, or connect them?
You know
so
why?
In some ways,
because the show writers during season 9 didn't watch Duncan Get Spooked.
Who knows? Maybe Sharon. Maybe if we get another interview with Sharon Miller, she says like, "Oh yeah, I made Proteus based on the ghost engine from Duncan Get Spooked."
I bet no. I bet no.
I also bet no. But as a fan, it's fun to say like, yeah.
No, but you know what pisses me off even more about this possible connection? Proteus is known for his special lamp, and the ghost engine was known for his lights.
Yeah.
It still baffles me that they didn't get it. It's still... But okay. Hey, Dennis! Oh, Dennis!
Dude, Dennis only had 2 appearances in the show. He appeared in Thomas's Day Off, and then a quick cameo in The Great Discovery.
Yeah, but still, immediately I would not change the story. I think genuinely how Sharon Miller gets crap, but how she wrote this episode is just perfect. Like Dennis, he just is lazy, and she showed him being lazy in the episode. Like, what else do you want to do with him? That's his only character trait. But there has to be an engine that has that character trait. I just love Dennis so much. I'm just biased. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Nicknames: Lazy Dennis. That fits him. I really like his face, and just find his face to be kind of funny. And maybe because I've been brain rotted about Dennis, but like, find his face to be kind of funny. And I think we both are in agreeing up on this thing.
Yeah.
But Dennis is vastly superior to his non-existent brother Norman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like Norman.
Who's Norman? There's only one engine of Dennis's class ever built.
Yeah, and Dennis was first. So Dennis is Dennis. Dennis is main.
And Dennis has the number of that exact same engine, that experimental diesel engine.
Exactly.
Which, need I remind you, there was only ever built one of.
Yes, and it's Dennis.
Yeah.
It's Dennis. It's not Norman. Nope.
Who's Norman?
Nope.
Never heard of him.
Question: does Norman actually have a character? Because I don't remember. I just remember he was brought in Day of the Diesels, and that's it.
He replaced Dennis in Day of the Diesels because they wanted new merchandise.
That's his character. Oh.
Like, okay, I'm trying to think. Like, I recently rewatched season 17, and Norman speaks in 2 episodes, I think. He speaks in The Perfect Gift. I think it was The Perfect Gift. I don't remember. Maybe. But it was an episode about... the missing Christmas decorations. That's the episode that Norman speaks in. He tells Percy that Sydney has been hanging there for 2 years. And then he also speaks in The Frozen Turntable, where he says that there's a spare shed at the diesel works.
So he's caring, that's all. That's all.
And he laughs at Fiery Flynn in the episode Fiery Flynn when Flynn runs out of water. So
I have a theory. Dennis and Norma are one in the same.
Maybe Dennis Dennis
committed a very, very, very bad crime, and to cover up his existence, he decided to get plastic surgery, change his voice, change his appearance, even though it's exactly the same class. So the police could trace it. The police could trace him so easily. They could trace him so easily because there's only one of that class. But because he changed his appearance, the police are like, nope, I don't know.
No,
Dennis is just safe.
It's the fact that he gained the unibrow. That's what the police like. Dennis has 2 eyebrows. This Norman guy has a unibrow. Can't be the same guy.
Hair transplant.
But the police didn't think about that. Gee, I wonder what Dennis could have done that was so bad that made him have to cover up his identity. Like, imagine if he sent a fax message to the wrong person or something.
Ooh,
that would be so terrible.
I wonder who he would have sent it to and which time period. Damn.
I do wonder.
Isn't Dennis also in a relationship with someone? Ooh, I wonder who it is. I don't know. Maybe go 2 characters back in this podcast and you'll realize.
What, Mighty Mac?
What? No.
I'm joking, but
I wonder who.
Besides all of the but besides all the jokes that us 2 have with Dennis, I honestly don't have that much to add about Dennis.
No,
he's a lazy engine, and maybe that's all he needs to be.
No, that's exactly what I just said. He's lazy, and he doesn't have anything else. And there should be one character on the island who has that trait. And it's Dennis. He's not like Neville, who doesn't do anything and doesn't really have a character. Dennis doesn't do anything, but this time he has a reason he does nothing. He's lazy, and that's his character.
Maybe during the filming of Day of the Diesels, he just didn't show up because he was sleeping. And then they were like, fuck.
He slept in.
He did. And then they were like, fuck, where's Dennis? We have like this really important scene with him. Just hey, you homeless man on the street, do you want to like be in a movie? And then Norman was like, sure.
And they gave him plastic surgery.
Yeah, a lot of it.
I bet Norman was just a class 08 and they were just like, we already added Paxton Sydney. We cannot have another class 08. Okay. Norman, you're getting a full rebuild. Oh, I'm not so sure. You're getting $5 million. You know what? Change me up.
The fact that Dennis gave $5 million says a lot about his laziness.
No, not Dennis. I mean the film producers.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Dennis, he was so lazy that, like, the film producer, you can come back for $5 million. And he says, no, I'm going to sleep.
No, I'm going to sleep.
Like, we only ever see Dennis interact with one character, and that is Thomas. And I do think Dennis, like, respects Thomas a lot because... But at the end of The Great Discovery, we see Dennis smiling and being very happy that Thomas is found. So I do think that Dennis, like, really cares about Thomas and thinks, like, Thomas is really cool.
No, I think so, too.
Just because, like, he's so happy that Thomas is found again, and Thomas was, like, the only engine that really gave him a chance at, like, working.
And honestly, besides it being very weird that Thomas gets a day off, I think this time it's actually good. I think this is actually a good pairing this time.
Yeah.
Thomas and Dennis.
Like, I've already made an entire video about Dennis and Thomas's day off and stuff, so I really don't have much more to add. Yeah. I don't really have that much more to add in the conversation with Dennis. Like, I just think it was a good episode, and I find Dennis to be very funny.
I still love that. Every time I see the sequence where he's just like, I guess somebody else is just going to take it, and he just runs off, and you can just hear the narrator saying, he didn't care about Thomas, he didn't care about the bricks. All he cared about was getting as far away from his work as possible. I just love that line so much. It's so funny. But that's Dennis. Nothing else to add.
I've nothing else to add about Dennis either.
Well then, another pretty nothing character, Jeremy.
What do you mean nothing character? Jeremy
actually no. Jeremy gave me Bertie vibes.
What do you mean? Jeremy is just a cool guy. He's the plane. Like, I also listened in the okay. First of all, Jeremy is a jet plane. He probably is like I listened to an interview with Abby Grant, who was the writer of the episode Thomas and the Jet Plane. She said it was really difficult to make a train.
I've heard that.
Talk with a plane. So in some ways, I really respect the episode for how they got around to do it. But like, Jeremy is just the jet plane. Like, he exists just for marketability, just so that they can have a character to link with the airport. And like, from what Abby Grant said, or from what it sounded like in the interview with Abby Grant, it sounded like she didn't really care that much about Jeremy, so there was probably no passion about it. It was obviously that this was a character that Hit wanted to push and stuff. This wasn't a character that
I've watched the Unlucky Tug video as well.
Oh,
absolutely too.
That's where you got the information from. I actually listened to the podcast.
I haven't. Send me that podcast. Actually, what's it called? I want to listen to it. I was just binge watching a bunch of Unlucky Tug videos I haven't watched, and I just heard that line, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting." One thing in the episode I still find really funny is the fact that Thomas just stops next to Jeremy's hangar, and then all the people on the platform are like, "Hey, we're here too." And then Thomas puffs like a few meters forwards to get to the platform.
Yeah,
like he saw his passengers in eye view, and he was like, "Oh wait, a jet plane I have never met. I need to talk to him."
Yeah,
that was funny.
Like,
that was funny.
I really have nothing to add with Jeremy. Like, he's just.
And honestly, I wouldn't do anything else with him.
Like, he's just a chill guy. That's what I imagine Jeremy to be. Like, he's a plane. He probably does a lot of security checks and stuff ever since
Let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about that. You know what I also really found very interesting?
What?
The people in the air traffic control tower must have had a frenzy with Jeremy when he flew a few inches above Thomas. Like, imagine you're an air traffic controller and you just see a plane go from 3,000 feet to fucking 10 and then fly up again. Like, think of the amount of stress you'll have in your body.
Jeremy just wanted to be a little bit cool.
That guy probably had a heart attack.
Yeah. I really like Jeremy's... well, I don't like it, but I find it really interesting, like his prototype face.
Yeah,
like that.
No.
That certainly is. That certainly is a face.
That's. You know what it looks like? It looks like a Tugs character.
Yeah, I can see it.
It looks like a Tugs character. Yeah. But yeah, that's Jeremy.
Yeah, I have nothing more to add about
I like
Jeremy.
him. I like him, and I take it back. He does have a character. He's just a cool guy.
Yeah, he's just like, obviously he has to be, like, he's a jet plane. He
like,
gets to fly across the sky. Like he kind of gives me Harold vibes, like all the planecraft and stuff. Like they get to fly around, look down below. Like they probably see everything, and they think everything is just so insignificant that what's the point of getting into drama and stuff? Like when you look down, you see all, like, everyone is just so insignificant. What's the point of getting into drama? Like,
it's literally Harold. Harold wasn't even being mean in the episode. He was just cocky about the fact, like, I don't have to worry. I can fly.
Yeah, I think Jeremy's a little bit. I think Jeremy's a little bit more chill than Harold. I think he's just cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about Jeremy.
The next character. Ooh. Now, this is where my list gets a bit fuzzy, because I realized later that I accidentally watched the episodes incorrectly in order. So, which character comes next?
Is
it Fearless Freddy or is it Rosie?
Now we can talk about Fearless Freddy. He seems like a cool guy.
Well, I really like Fearless Freddy, but I really... when I think about it, they could have done more with him with Duke. Honestly, I think in that episode, Duke should have come back, like, as a cameo for one time. Like,
I don't know. I feel like Freddy and Duke have very vastly different personalities, to the point where I think, like, that. I think I'm glad Freddy also exists, because Duke is like, he's like your average grandpa character, while Freddy is like the average grandpa character who wants to be hip and cool, who wants to be hip and cool with the kids, like so. Hopping to, like, the rewrite section, the only thing I would rewrite about the episode is replace Skarloey and Rhaenyra with Duncan and Peter Sam, and then boom, done. The episode's finished, rewritten.
Oh, that's really smart, actually.
Yeah, because Peter, Sam, and Duncan are reckless, and later on in season 11, in Sir Handel in Charge, it's implied that Peter, Sam, and Peter, Sam, and Duncan race down the hill. So, yeah.
They used it later. Yeah, but I really hate Skarloey and Rhaenyra in this episode. With a passion, I hate them so much.
Anyway, give me a second, I have to let my cat inside, so it's going to be a moment of silence.
Okay. We'll have to wait for him. I might as well just play James's theme on the piano.
You could do that.
Oh, you're back.
I am back. So anyway.
One note I wrote about him was lore. Fearless Freddy adds lore to the show. Something to hit and relax.
I personally headcanon that Freddy used to work on, like, the Minnesota Railway. That's at
least what
I
agree.
used to.
I agree.
Like, he looks like a really big and strong engine that, like, used to pull the very heavy trains.
He reminds me of Stanley. He reminds me of Stanley. That's the first thing I realized when I watched the episode. Like, I haven't read the original Railway series story, but I have seen the illustration of Stanley the boxy figure. It's almost the same.
Yeah, but then again, Stanley is American and Freddy is British.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. You know, if you want to remove the American part from Stanley, you could just say that it was always Freddy who was locked in there, and recently they discovered him as a generator.
I feel like the American part of Freddy is very important to his character. So
you mean Stanley?
No, I mean the American part. I mean the American part of Stanley. Yeah, my bad. I feel like the American part of Stanley is really important and integral to his character. So therefore, I think that maybe.
I am slowly realizing that with every single character, we have less to talk about.
Oh, don't worry. Where I already see the next few characters, I have a lot of to talk about them. But like the thing is with Freddy, he's not a character that I normally do a lot with. Like the most I've done with him is that he's like the engine that everyone hates because he always talks about how he's the fearless engine and stuff. So they go get like, okay, Freddy, can you just shut the fuck up,
Freddy,
please?
we know.
No, but like,
come on.
No, but like in my day, I used to go rocketing down the hill, and I was like really fast, and I pulled the heaviest train.
We know, Freddy. You beat us like 6 times. Now shut the hell up. We know, Freddy.
I'm going to beat you 7 times. But
what did you do?
Oh my god. But like, I think there's a lot of potential with Freddy, especially on the mid-solar railway. Yeah. Like, maybe he was like a little cocky engine, and then he had like an accident, and then he learned like, okay, maybe don't be so cocky. But then when he got back to the Skarloey railway, all of a sudden all the engines were like, come on, Freddy, come on, let's race. And he's like, okay, I was the fastest engine in the hills after all.
Yeah.
So maybe it can be like a recovering addict about going sober, but then they get peer pressured back into doing drugs. That's probably the worst analogy I could come up with, but
no, it fits. Kinda.
Let me just read the official description of Freddy.
Oh.
Fearless Freddy is a warhorse engine of the narrow gauge railway, a handsome engine with a big brass dome. He was in his youth.
Okay.
He was in his youth the daredevil of the hills. He could go faster and more fearlessly than any other engine. So there it talks about how Freddy was a little bit of a daredevil.
So basically, Freddy got reckless. All the bitches back in his day.
With his handsome big brass dome.
Yeah.
It talks about how Freddy used to be a daredevil. So
Freddy is the high school jock. Freddy is the high school jocks.
And now he's a grandpa. And maybe one thing I would like to like pair Freddy up with that description is maybe Duncan, because Hit Era Duncan, especially in like an episode of like Cool Truckings, he's a very like daredevil, he's very good at edging people to do the things that he wants to do.
Speaking of Cool Truckings, it's not Cool Trucking, it's Cool Truckings, by the way.
Yeah, it's Cool Truckings. And we'll get to Madge eventually, but like the way Duncan peer pressures Madge into being like this cool, doing cool and reckless things. Maybe he does the same to Freddy. Like that is one of the bro. That's why I wanted to rewrite the episode to have Duncan and Peter Sam instead of Skarloey and Renee's, because then maybe Duncan peer pressures Freddy back into doing his daredevil things, and then Freddy learns that there's a reason the past is the past. Come on, Freddy. Come on. They used to call you Fearless Freddy for a reason.
Yeah, and then
well, you're not wrong.
Now, my question is, should Duncan crash or Fearless Freddy?
No, Duncan should be the one to crash. Because I think Duncan is the one to peer pressure, and therefore I think Duncan should be the one to get into the accident, and then Freddy learns from watching Duncan. You know?
I actually think it would also work the other way around.
I get that, but I feel
Freddy, the old man who needs to know better, creates all these mishaps, and then he realizes, maybe, the past is the past.
Yeah, I get that, but I keep thinking like a story like Dirty Object, where James is the instigator of the thing and then he gets the comeuppance. And I'm thinking like Duncan should probably be treated the same way, where he's the instigator of it. And then Freddy follows with it, thinking like, oh, this isn't really a good idea. And then Freddy wins, and then Duncan gets cross, and therefore Duncan goes faster and faster, and then he crashes, and Peter Sam's like, oh no, Duncan, you crashed. I know that, Peter Sam, can you go and get help? Or something, I don't know.
Yeah, I like that.
The only problem I have with the idea of Freddy like working on the Mid-Sodor Railway is that the Mid-Sodor Railway and the Skarloey Railway are very far apart, and the way the show treats it, it makes it look like Freddy knows the tracks of the hills on the Skarloey Railway. So maybe I would replace Sir Handel with maybe Skarloey, and maybe Freddy wasn't a Mid-Sodor engine, but like he used to work on the Skarloey Railway back when like they had lone engines.
I was just saying, maybe he was borrowed from another railway.
Maybe. And that is why he's old and wise, just like Skarloey and Reneus. Anyway, I think I've said my 2 cents on Freddy. Wait, no, I have one more thing to say.
Oh, there we go.
I do like his use in The Man of the Hills, where he like tells a story. Like he in that episode he actually proves like he is a little bit old and wise. Like he knows these stories about like the man in the hills and stuff, like these mystical things. And I'm not even going to mention Dingaling because funny title.
Let's not mention.
I think that's a very out of character episode for Freddy.
No, you don't say.
Actually, no. I think it does kind of make sense the way the other engines seem as this old engine, and therefore they think, oh, Freddy knows what to do, and Freddy's like, yeah, I know what to do.
But the fact that it's with a bike, come on.
Yeah, that's the problem. I think that actually Actually, Dingaling reminds me a lot of Edward and the Male, where the old character is asked to do something they aren't normally doing. Jeez, they just copied the episode.
I don't think I actually remember Edward and the Male.
Oh, well, I'm a Hit Era purist, so I watch every Hit Era episode.
I have recently, while watching these episodes, I also watched Thomas and the Spaceship because Jamie was in it. I was like, maybe Jamie speaks. Well, no, that's the first time I've ever watched Thomas and the Spaceship.
I don't think I've ever watched Thomas and the Spaceship.
I think I've watched the entirety of season 12 more than season 10 and 11. Because season 12, I once put season 12 on to binge watch because I was bored. I don't remember a single thing except one episode with Gordon, Stanley, and either Bill or Ben. That's what I remember. I did rewatch the one Snow episode with James and Hector, and I really, really like that one. But we'll get to that later.
We will. Anyway, we still have some more characters of season 10, so let's us continue.
Yeah. Well then, Madge.
No, it's Rosie.
Really?
Man, we're still on season 10.
Rosie was season 10, right?
Yeah.
Then when was Madge from?
Season 11.
Jesus Christ. I told you my list is the wrong way around. Well then, Rosie. She arrived on the island and is a simp. That's Rosie. There's more.
No, I think...
But that's what I've written down.
There's a lot. She arrives on the island and immediately she just starts simping for Thomas.
Yeah.
And Rosie is a character I've thought about a lot because I think she can be very interesting if you put her into the right scenarios. And she's also the only character in the Hit era to not have the cameo tag on the wiki page. She speaks in every single in every one of her appearances in the Hit era, not the Nitrogen era, but like in every Hit era episode, she does actually speak in them. So that's something.
Interesting.
She's also one of the few engines who actually got a spotlight episode.
I actually think one of the reasons Rosie came back and was featured more is because she's female.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the reason she appeared more and was also translated into CGI. Yeah. My question is, why didn't they do it with Molly as well, or Madge? But, that's beside me.
Okay, so the thing with Rosie is that you could say many people have done this, where they say that Rosie's American. I personally think, she does have an American basis. I do think she was built in Britain. But like, if I were to voice her, I think I maybe would have given her like an American accent. I'm unsure. But the thing with Rosie.
You know what I would have done with Rosie in that scenario? She was built in America, but she was immediately sent to Britain. So she never actually did.
That also works.
She never actually did it. Like, she's an American class engine, but she could have been immediately sold to a British buyer. Like, that's why she doesn't have That's why she doesn't have an American accent. That's why.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I would give her an American accent, though. I think I would. But so anyway, now I'm already getting into like my own AU of Rosie.
Yeah.
But because that's where I'm best at talking about with these characters. But
True.
So the thing I find interesting is that Rosie's class worked at Southampton docks, which is the same docks where a lot of Thomas's brothers, the E2 class tank engines, also worked. So
that's
now we're getting
right.
into like my own headcanon for Rosie.
Let's just go into your own headcanon, because she doesn't really do a lot in the episode, except I do like that she looks up to Thomas. Like, you would think so, because Thomas is very popular. The books exist in the Thomas canon as well, so she would have heard from Thomas. So it makes sense.
That's where I'm getting at, because Rosie, Rosie was probably built, if I can find the build date on the SR dock tanks. Let me just quickly look that up, because I didn't do this research. Where does it say? It should say somewhere. Build date 1942 to 1943. Okay. So during the war, but she was built during the war, and Thomas was also built during a war. He was built during the First World War, while Rosie was built during the Second. So here's the interesting thing, is that Rosie is kind of the next generation after Thomas, because the E2s worked at Southampton, then the dock tanks, Rosie's class, came and took their job. So she kind of comes a generation after Thomas. And
so
now
they
this
have
is where
a
we get
connection in that part.
They do kind of. Rosie is kind of like the Thomas of her generation, so that maybe that's why she wants to try and emulate him, because she sees herself as the Thomas of the generation that she is in. Now we get into the fact, like, she worked with a bunch of Thomas's brothers, so maybe the Thomas's brothers like told stories about Thomas, like say like, oh yeah, Thomas, he was like a cheeky little engine, blah 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 blah, and that plus the fact that maybe the books had come out at that time, so she would probably listen or read the books, maybe have her driver read the books to her, and then she would learn all this about Thomas, and almost not. I don't remember. There's a word for it, but I don't exactly know what it's called. It's I was about to say one-sided relationship, but I wouldn't call it that. Looking for a word that isn't stalker. Because I don't want to make Rosie just a stalker, but like, she learns about Thomas. Like, I think it's like the way, like, she learns all about Thomas. She learns about Thomas's past. She learns all about Thomas's adventures before ever actually meeting the guy, if that makes sense. So she gets her own interpretation of Thomas based on all the stories she has read and heard and stuff. So she probably
acts like she kind of knows Thomas.
Yeah, so when she arrived on Sodor, she probably says like, oh, Thomas, what was it like rescuing James? And Thomas is like, hello, I'm Thomas. Who are you? Like, the first thing Rosie says is like, oh, Thomas, oh, what was it like getting your branch line? Oh, how is Percy? Oh, remember when you rescued James? Oh, when you had trouble with trucks? And Thomas is just like,
I've never met you. You know. Hi.
I have to go. And then that added on to the fact that she's the Thomas of her generation and wants to act like him. I can obviously see why Thomas gets a little bit fed up, because Rosie's always pestering him, and he's like, Rosie, I just want to deliver this mail. Please, let me do my work. Oh, but Thomas, Rosie, shut up.
You know, honestly, in that regard, Rosie would be one of those characters that Thomas wouldn't be friends with.
No, I think at the start he wouldn't want to be friends with him.
Him. With them. Let's just use them because
she's a she, but she is described as a tomboy. She is described as Rosie is a tomboy tank engine.
Wow. Okay.
She is literally a Thomas boy.
Okay. That
was really bad.
That was really shit. Yep.
I know, but I think at the start Rosie would be very like pestering Thomas and stuff, but I think eventually she would learn boundaries and stuff, and that is when we maybe get like an episode like Hector the Horrid, where Thomas actually starts to appreciate Rosie and respect Rosie, and maybe take her under the wing the same way maybe an engine like Edward took Thomas under the wing. And so when Hector scares Rosie and Rosie runs away, and Thomas gets like mama bear mode and starts beating the shit out of Hector. But that's the thing, like Thomas, like I said, Rosie is like the generation after Thomas. So maybe Thomas feels the sense that he has to look after Rosie and be like almost a mentor to Rosie and help her out. And then there is obviously the drama that a bunch Rosie's class replaced Thomas's class. So that would be an awkward conversation to have. Like Rosie would sit Thomas down and say, Thomas, I
don't know how to tell you this, but your brothers are dead and I replaced them.
And it's kind of my class's
So
fault.
what did you do? How did you save James? How did you get your branch line? Rosie, you just told me all my brothers are dead. Yeah, I know. But remember when you fell down a mine?
My brothers. But
Thomas, stop being a baby. My sisters are also dead.
No, okay. But like I think Rosie is one of the few characters who actually got a lot of it, like not a lot, but she actually got a little bit of attention in the CGI series. And while I'm not a fan of like Red Rosie, I do think the idea of Rosie becoming more mature and stuff is really nice. And I think Rosie's one of the few characters along with Mavis that actually had long-lasting character development, where she went from being this Thomas-obsessed freak to eventually growing into her own person and getting her own job that isn't even related to Thomas. Obviously, I would obviously like to have her near Thomas and stuff so they can interact and stuff for stories. I would probably even place her onto the Farquhar branch line. Maybe, I'm not sure. Maybe she'd be like Doc Engine at Tidmouth. I'm unsure. Haven't really thought that far ahead.
I do like the idea of Red Rosie, of her like changing her paintwork and changing her personality. It's kind of symbolic almost. Like she grew up, but one thing they shouldn't have removed, which I agree with you on, is the fact that they should have still made her obsessed with Thomas, like slightly.
I wouldn't say obsessed with Thomas. I'd more say just friends with Thomas, because
now actually they tried the obsession part, but it failed miserably.
The problem is, like in the CGI series, they made an episode called Rosie is Red, which is about all of the characters shipping Thomas and Rosie. Yeah. But the thing is, in the episode, Rosie is portrayed as not liking it. But I don't think she wouldn't like it. I think she would be all over it. I think she would absolutely love the idea of being like together with Thomas. Like, I personally don't care that much about shipping, but I think Rosie definitely would care. And when all the other engines says like, "Oh, Thomas and Rosie, blah 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 blah," then Rosie would be like, "Yeah," and Thomas would be like, "No. What are you guys talking about?" Like Rosie would be like, "Yeah, Thomas, you're my boyfriend."
And Thomas is like, "I already have a relationship.
It's called my branch line,
my work, my coaches, you know."
I wouldn't say Thomas is in her.
No, that's true. I think any Clairvaux aunties to Thomas.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
I like that more.
Another character that I find interesting that they paired Rosie up with is Emily. obviously the reason they paired her up is because they're both females, and we needed to have 2 female characters in an episode.
Yeah, but why
together
didn't you just do that with Molly then? Why didn't you just do that with Molly? You had the option, you didn't.
But
what do you hit? Is Hits Entertainment sexist? I'm joking. I'm joking.
I know. While Rosie's Funfair special is a very formulaic, 3 strikes formula episode, I do like Emily and Rosie pairing up, because Emily, I could almost see Emily, because I always view Thomas and Emily as having a rivalry. I can almost see Emily trying to make Rosie obsessed with her. Like, obviously, this isn't what they did in the episode, and while we are supposed to talk about rewriting Thomas and the birthday mail, I think an episode that I would rewrite is Rosie's Funfair special, and instead make it more about Emily trying to show, almost like Gordon Takes Charge, with how Gordon wanted to like impress Percy, but to the next level where Emily wants to impress Rosie and say like, look at me, Rosie, I'm the one you should be looking up to, because she like sees Rosie looking up to Thomas and Emily's jealous, and she's like, no, you should look up to me, look at my big wheels, and Rosie's like, okay, that's cool, but like look at Thomas as number 1 and his pistons and his side tanks and his door and his frames, and Emily would be like, okay, shut up.
You know how we've been talking, well, now that I'm thinking about it, I know exactly how I would have rewritten Thomas's birthday mail. You know what I would have done? What? I would have renamed the episode something along the line of Thomas's fan. Like,
Thomas and his fan.
Thomas and his fan. And you know what? This is exactly how I would have done the episode. Thomas is supposed to take the mail that day, and Rosie, being obsessed with Thomas, also wants to suddenly pull the mail too. So what Rosie does is every single time Thomas puffs up to his station, Rosie puffs up in front of him and takes the mail he's supposed to take. And eventually, that happens so many times that all the letters and all the mail get jumbled up and nobody knows where it has to go anymore. And eventually, at a random station, the fat controller's in and is like, Rosie, you're supposed to be taking trucks to the mines. What are you doing here taking the mail? And Rosie's like, oh, damn, I'm so obsessed with Thomas. This actually turns into a Rosie episode. I've been so obsessed with Thomas, I've neglected my own work.
Yeah. And like, maybe... Yeah, I get what you mean when it's becoming a Rosie episode, because Thomas and the birthday mail is obviously like from Thomas's perspective.
Yeah, and I just don't like the birthday mail part. Like, he gets mail specifically for this one girl. Like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I do like to crash.
Yeah, I do agree, where Thomas's birthday mail is too much about Thomas and the birthday mail and Rosie's side plot. But I can go on and talk about Rosie for hours and stuff, but I think I should end it there with my Rosie discussion.
But you know, honestly, now I want to try and rewrite that episode. I'm gonna write it down actually.
Yeah, do that. On one final note, I do like how in Thomas and the runaway car, Rosie gets a new coat of paint and is shiny, and then immediately gets covered in dirt because of Thomas. Now,
yeah,
I think after that, Thomas, and I think after that, Rosie would be like, "Fuck you, Thomas."
Like, such a big switch in opinions.
Like, immediately just to switch up. Obviously, I wouldn't do that, but I still think it would be funny to do.
No, actually, I think it fits perfectly. I think it fits perfectly for Rosie. She sees so highly of Thomas, is completely obsessed, but suddenly she gets covered in dirt and she's like, this asshole. Like, she's so one-sided with her opinion of Thomas that when something new comes, in her opinion immediately locks onto that. And every time Thomas sees Rosie doesn't even whistle or say hi, she just puffs away angry.
Maybe. Anyway, enough about Rosie, now let's talk about Rocky.
I've completely forgotten about Rocky. I'm not kidding. I completely forgot about Rocky.
You forgot about Rocky?
I almost forgot about Stanley as well, but we'll get to that later. I completely forgot. I didn't even watch I do remember the episode. I think it's a funny episode.
everyone remembers the episode.
Yeah, and everybody remembers how out of character Edward is. So let's take...
No, but this isn't about Edward. This is about Rocky. So I don't care that Edward was out of character, because this is about Rocky. So I think the Edward Strikes Out immediately showcases, like, just like Jeremy, I think Rocky is just such a chill guy. Because Edward openly, like, says, like, you're stupid, you're newfangled nonsense and stuff. And the moment there's trouble, Rocky's like, go get him, Edward, you got this, and winks, and like he's smiling, and then he lifts Gordon back up, and he winks at Edward, says like, good job, Edward.
He's just nice. He's just nice.
Like, he's the breakdown train. Like, he needs to like help engines and stuff. Like, that's his job. He helps engines.
Rocky's kind of like a doctor. Like, you can say whatever that you want to them, but they'll still always help you.
Yeah, I think Rocky would be like a great therapist. Like, I think someone could vent to him, and he's like, he will literally lift you up.
He would just say like, you know what you need. You need to feel some air under your wheels, and he lifts you up, and the engines feel like they're on a cloud for a minute. Like nothing can disturb them. They're so happy.
But, like, imagine, like, if Percy, like, puffs up to Rocky and complains, like, I'm so small, I can't do anything. And Rocky's like, oh, I can help with that. Grabs Percy and lifts him up. See, now you can look at all the engines from above. And he's like, wow, thank you, Rocky. Go get him, Percy. So, like, in the CGI series, Rocky got one spotlight episode called Rocky Rescue, which was about all the other which was about the search and rescue center being complete stupid. And
I haven't watched that one. Don't remember it.
Don't. It's terrible. The search and rescue center are completely incompetent in that episode. They can't do anything.
This is a Nitrogen era episode, right?
No, it's a season 19 era episode.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really depressing. I know. But it's season 19, and I know that season is kind of mid, so...
I like season 19, so don't say anything bad about it.
Listen, I'm just saying what I've heard. I haven't watched the entire season. I don't remember it. Well, I have, but I don't remember it.
But I like Rocky, just like Jeremy. I don't have much to say. Like, he has some really cool merchandise, and he's like the crane character. I love his face. Like, he looks like a Chad, like just smiling.
Bachman.
Yeah, like no, actually, like Bachman.
Crane. You don't have a crane. Think of the potential.
Bachman, please make Rocky be so cool.
And if you don't make Rocky, make the... I don't even remember their CGI names, but make the original breakdown crane, so we can pair them with...
You don't remember Judy and Jerome?
That's Judy their names. JJ, yeah, Judy and Jerome. No, but it would be so cool. They've made Ryan. Like, think of that. Oh, that would be so cool.
No, but okay, this is actually like a story potential, because in the missing breakdown train, Judy and Jerome complain about like how Rocky has almost replaced them. We never get like an episode where the three of them go toe to toe, and I think it would be really one-sided, where Judy and Jerome would be really pissed at Rocky for replacing them, and Rocky would be like, "Oh,
I didn't replace you.
Sorry.
I'm just extra."
Oh, sorry. I thought I was helping you. Oh, you could take my work if you want. And then Judy and Jerome would be like, "Oh, well, actually, no. We like it up at Allsborough. You can continue doing what you're doing." And Rocky's like, "Oh yeah, thanks." And then they're just chill. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on Rocky.
Yeah,
I like him. He's cool.
Well, since I didn't really watch and write anything about Rocky, all I can say is, yeah, he's cool. Yeah.
Now we're on to season 11.
Do we now get to Madge, or am I still...
No, not yet.
Oh. Not that I have a lot to say about Madge, but my list is just screwed.
So, I'm just going to tell you the order. It's with Billy, Hector, then Madge.
Oh, whoa, that's bad. Okay, well then, with... I'm a bit smelly.
Whiffy Whiff.
With, I like Whiff. I like Whiff a lot. You know what I really like about Whiff? Whiff is a character that does not care about whatever they think, what any engine thinks about it. And I think also the reason they did that in the episode is because Whiff only had one face mask. I think that's one of the reasons. But also, he just shows that you can say whatever you want about him or to him, and he will just be like, okay, that's cool. I'm just gonna work with garbage. Like Emily literally apologizes to Whiff, saying, "I'm sorry, I ran away from you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't want to work with you." And Whiff is like, "I'm just glad you found me. Let's get to work." Like I really like that. I really like that there's a character who just does not give a shite. Like
yeah,
he works with garbage. Of course, he knows he smells. He knows. He knows other engines are going to look down upon him, but he doesn't care. He likes his work.
Yeah, and I think I think that's why it's so funny that they paired him up with Emily, like in the first episode, because Emily is one of the engines who cares the most about how she looks. Like she tries her best to be glamorous and clean.
No. That's James. Just James cares the most. Emily would be second in place for that. James is the one who cares the most.
Okay, buddy.
I think Emily would be slightly more forgiving than James.
I honestly, this isn't a James or Emily podcast, but I honestly think that James is more forgiving than Emily. Really? James can be harsher than Emily sometimes, and James can sometimes be. No, not harsher, but James can.
I'm writing this down. Next podcast episode, potential with James and Emily.
Because James is very boastful about his paintwork and stuff, but Emily wants to be a queen. Like, she wants to be a queen, she wants to rule over people, she cares a lot about how she looks, she cares a lot about status. James only really cares about how he looks. Emily has, like, this whole other world that she cares about. Like, she used to be an express engine, most likely. So, she has, like...
you're right. You're right, actually.
She has something to live up to, while James is just a good engine. But anyway, with... So, pairing Emily up with this scrunchy little rubbish engine who just likes rubbish. I'm guessing Whiff actually eats rubbish as well. Like, that's one of his favorite things to eat.
Maybe maybe he smells so much, not because he works with garbage, but because he actually runs on garbage. The crew just puts garbage in his
but like, I honestly don't have much to say about Whiff. Like, he's just a rubbish engine. But I do have one other thing I have to say. I hate how the CGI series handle Whiff, because
I haven't watched that.
They made him like this wise and a thoughtful character just because he has glasses. Like, that's the only reason. Like that. Like, I find Whiff with glasses to be funny, but like, they made him this wise engine just because he has glasses. Like, there are some episodes where I feel like he is in character, but like the way he, like, especially like Misty Island Rescue, like, they make him to be this wise and that knows everything about solar.
I think I remember that scene, actually. I remember it. Like, I haven't watched it, but you know.
Like, Whiff talks about like Solo's history and stuff, but like, dude, you were introduced like 2 seasons before. Shut the fuck up. I do like season 16's Thomas and the Rubbish Train, where Whiff has no idea that Thomas is going off and fucking off, but he continues to try and do a good work. And I do somewhat like Whiff's wish, which is also in season 16, although I do think that episode slightly misinterprets Whiff, or slightly mischaracterizes him, because in that episode, Spencer calls him Whiffy Whiff and says he's not a grand engine, and then Whiff like, oh no, I want to be grand. I feel like that's a little bit out of character for Whiff.
That's not Whiff. Whiff would just be like, okay.
I'm pulling rubbish, that makes me grand. I do like that they gave Whiff a spotlight episode, but at the same time, I don't think Whiff would really care that much. Like, he works at the waste dump.
You know what I also don't get about Whiffy Whiff? Why is Spencer suddenly impressed? That's not what Spencer would do. He would just be like, didn't expect that. You still smell, though. That's what Spencer would do.
Smelly Whiff.
This bug suits you.
You are smelly. Anyway, that's it for Whiff. Let's go on to...
Oh, no.
Billy.
Billy. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Stop telling me what to do.
Oh, you're gonna hate me for this. You're really
Stop
gonna
telling
hate
me.
me. I rewatched the episode, and I really liked Billy. I really liked Billy. I'm so sorry. I'm not joking. And the reason I liked him was because, yes, he is a cocky character. But that was his actual character. He had a character. He was cocky and did not like listening to people. He didn't like people telling him what to do, as he says like 60 times in the episode. But in the end, when he learns humility, like I don't think Thomas and Billy become friends, but Billy respects Thomas in the end and just says, "You're a really useful engine." Like, it's not like, yeah, Thomas and Billy work together perfectly and they are friends. No, Billy just learns that sometimes it is best to listen. And he respects Thomas for trying so hard to teach him that. And that's why I like Billy. Like, I think Billy actually learned something at the end of that episode. Like, Dennis didn't learn shit at the end of the episode. He was just saved by Thomas, and it was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a useful engine from now on. He's not. He's gonna do the exact same thing. But Billy, I think Billy actually learned something, and that's why I like Billy so much. I'm not kidding.
I can understand that.
But I hear you do not agree.
I do vastly prefer him over someone like Charlie.
Oh, I fucking hate Charlie. I don't know. You know,
wait,
Charlie.
do
I? Let's get the Charlie later. Let's focus on Billy.
Yeah. So the thing about Billy is that I would like him if him being annoying was the point. Because I feel like he's meant to be cocky, but he comes more across as annoying. And therefore I don't like him because I feel like that wasn't intentional by the writers. But if you wrote a story where the whole point about Billy is that he's annoying and everyone hates him, then I'd maybe like him as a character more, because like then he would have a unique purpose. He makes everyone around him annoyed. Like maybe he even annoys Edward. And it was like, Billy, can you shut up?
I think the episode could have been better with Edward, actually.
Yeah, I think
pairing like Edward and especially in the hit era, because Edward is the single old character in the hit era. That's his entire trait.
Oh,
so
there,
they
what
could have.
Nothing.
No, but yeah, I think pairing him up with Edward would have been way better. But you know.
Yeah, because in this episode, Thomas acts very patient. I feel like the moment Billy ran away, Thomas would be like, "Okay."
Oh, okay. And the moment Billy would be like, "Yeah, I'm not taking coal and water," Thomas would be like, "No, you listen
Fine.
here, you little bitch."
He would either say, he would either do that, or he would be like, "Fine, goodbye."
Fine, go. He would have said that way earlier. Like, he does that in the episode, but it's too late.
Yeah. Like, I don't have much to add about Billy. He was supposed to be in season 13. And that's basically it. Also,
yeah,
his whistle... His whistle is James's whistle, but just 16 steps higher pitched.
I'm gonna listen to that later. That's gonna fuck me up. Now I'm interested when we review the Nitrogen era characters later. I'm interested what my opinion is on Charlie, because I haven't watched.
I think, as much as I was surprised about your opinions on Billy, I think you're going to be surprised about my opinions on Charlie.
I have a feeling you're gonna like it, but maybe I'll like Charlie too. I don't know. Well, that's Billy. Who's next? Hector.
Hector the Horrid.
Hector the Horrid.
I like Hector.
Highly engineered coal truck on wheels.
It's heavily
on rails.
Coal truck.
Heavily on rails. Listen, I was close
I like
enough.
Hector. Like
really
I don't
like
have
him.
much to. I don't have much to add on Hector. I haven't written a lot about him, but like, he has a character arc. He has an actual character arc. He's one of the few hidden characters who actually has an arc. He goes from being this very dangerous truck, not dangerous, but like this really rude and antagonistic truck, to then becoming like really good friends with like the engines, and then actually helping James out. Like in the episode, James works it out.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
actually
That's
Hector.
why I like. That's why I like that episode so much.
Yeah, like
And the
genuinely
visuals.
Yeah, the visuals are cool. I like that episode because like Hector
It makes sense.
just helps.
The writing in that episode kind of makes sense, which is surprising for season 12, but that's why I really like it. But you know what I would have done with Hector the Horrid? I like it, that is with Thomas, but I would have made it with Bill and Ben.
No, I would have kept Thomas. I think that is a Thomas episode there.
Yeah.
I think that is a Thomas story. Bill and Ben are used very well as like these little engines that Hector bullies, but I think the story itself works with Thomas.
Oh, it does. That's why I say I really like it with Thomas, but I think it would have also worked with Bill and Ben.
I don't see it working that well with Bill and Ben. Because I feel like Bill and Ben would either be too terrified to ever stand up to him, or just not take him seriously at all, and just play pranks at him. Because I'm thinking about like the Diesel, and how Bill and Ben treat Boko, who in their eyes wasn't an antagonist, but like Bill and Ben, they just played tricks on him. They didn't care. Like they just played tricks on him. So I feel like if you had Bill and Ben in this scenario, I think you would get a wildly different story, and I think that would kind of ruin Hector the Horrid's charm.
Yeah,
I can see
where you're coming from.
I think the episode could only work with Thomas. I think Thomas is one of the few characters who would resort to standing up to Rosie like that, and actually
resort to violence.
And resort to violence and say like, okay, you mess with her, you mess with me. I'm gonna beat you up, and then he does. And because if it was Edward, or even Henry maybe, like the problem would have been solved. Like Henry understands people, like he knows. So he would probably understand, like, okay, Hector's just putting up a facade. You're not actually scary, you're just scared of coal. Yes.
Edward would probably do the same.
Oh, Edward would understand it instantly. Like Hector would say, keep away, and Edward would be like, really? Sorry. And then Gordon would never touch trucks. James would say like, "Oh, I'm not scared." He's
but I'm
actually
not getting
horrified.
Close to him. Somebody else can do it.
Thomas, you do it. So
fine,
and
James.
Percy obviously would never do it, and Toby, he wouldn't care. So I feel like this is a story that would only work with Thomas.
Yeah. Okay. Now that you say it like that, I get what you're playing at. Literally, if you would write, now that I think about it, if you would write it with Bill and Ben, it would literally just be the Diesel, except Bill and Ben crash a truck. Yeah, exactly. That's it. Literally, what they would do is Bill and Ben see a new truck, they get terrified as fuck. They either go to Edward or Boko. One of them tells them, it's just a truck, don't worry about it. And then Hector pisses off one of the twins. One of them crashes Hector. Then the exact same thing happens in the original episode where Hector suddenly shows humility. Bill and Ben feel bad. They fill him up with coal, and that's it. It would literally be the Diesel with a truck. So yeah, it's true. You're right. It's best that they made it with Thomas.
Yeah. Like I said, I have nothing more to add with Hector because he has a complete arc. Like he's one of the few hidden characters who, kind of like Rosie, actually changed and actually had an arc. So in some ways, I really like Hector, but I have nothing more to add.
Really sad that they didn't continue with him in CGI, because making a truck is easier than making an engine.
Yeah. I feel like they could, especially in the Brenner era, that they could have done a lot with Hector.
Yeah, but we almost also got Boko, but sad.
So, the last season 11 character. Madge the snub-nosed lorry.
Finally, we got to Madge.
I know you wanted to talk about Madge, so why don't you start?
Oh no, it's not me wanting to talk about Madge. It was me. My list was just fucked up the entire time. So I was like, are we getting to Madge now? But yeah, what do I say about Madge? I don't know. I don't know what to say about Madge. She's careful. She's careful, but also cares what people think of her, and is very prone to peer pressure. I don't have much to say. I literally wrote almost nothing on Madge.
Really?
Almost nothing. Yeah, but that's mostly also because my notes weren't fully finished. Also because...
I really like Madge because she's one of the few...
Oh, I really like Madge as well.
No, she's actually the only like road character associated with the Skarloey Railway. And like I know a lot of people said like, oh, she only works because like she's like the mother figure and because all the others are baby trains. But I think she could have worked in like the railway series and stuff, especially with stories like Wash Behind Your Buffers and Cool Truckings. Cool Truckings I wouldn't change at all, but I think I would change Wash Behind Your Buffers a little bit to where it's not the fact that Skarloey and Renee's are just incompetent to take washdowns. I think it's more that Skarloey and Renee's work so much and are so addicted to working that they forget to have washdown, so they need someone like Madge to be like a mother and say, you've done enough. You can have a washdown now. And then Skarloey will be like, no, Madge, I need to work. If your wheels aren't working, then you aren't being really useful. Skarloey, just have a wash. All right, Madge, I will. But then I have to wear my wheels. Skarloey, no, just take a rest. A rest? I haven't had a rest in... I haven't had a rest in 5 days. Oh.
Oh.
Well, take a rest.
Skarloey, that's kind of messed up.
Shut up, Renius. You haven't had a rest in 7 days. You're the weird one.
Okay.
And then Smudger laughs in the background.
Huh?
So,
I can't do this laugh.
I think Madge is a really important character to Skarloey Railway. To kind of like
as a mother character, yeah.
She is kind of like a mother. Like she goes around the railway making sure that she takes care, and she's like a lorry. She carries the engines. That's what she does. She carries Duncan. And like while a lot of people talk about cool truckings, I think Wash Behind Your Buffers, if you do rewrite it a little bit, is a little bit better at showcasing Madge's character. Because it does kind of showcase her motherly side and taking care and, her motto, safe and steady and stuff. Blah, 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 blah. But then again, Madge isn't a character I think about it often. I just really like and I think she is a good supporting role. I think she did get about the right amount of screen time that she needed. She got 2 episodes and a single line of dialogue in The Great Discovery, so I think she did her part.
Yeah. Would have been fun to see her in CGI, though. But also...
it definitely would have been.
But that's with a lot of characters.
Oh yeah, I would have loved to see the entire cast in CGI. But that is it for Season 11. Now we're on to Season 12. Who only had three characters. They were feeling different there. I wonder if there was a planned 4th character that they had to scrap. Maybe it was Charlie. Maybe it was Hero. I don't know.
No, I think it was Hero.
Maybe.
Because Hero of the Rails was originally meant to be model, but... was it?
It was originally, but that was really, really early in development. I don't think that came that far.
We forgot about Stanley.
Stanley was introduced in a movie. He doesn't count. He's not a part of this.
Yeah, but he's still a Hitara newbie.
Fuck Stanley.
You sure?
Dude, you haven't taken any notes. I haven't taken any notes. Are we really going to do Stanley?
Good point.
We can do a whole separate video on Stanley because
an entire podcast on Stanley.
I know I said I hated Stanley, but that is not true.
No, I honestly think Stanley. If we're gonna add anything about Stanley, I think Stanley was handled pretty well in The Great Discovery.
Yeah.
As far as I can remember.
So, the first character of Season 12 is Hank. and he only appeared in one episode. He's known as Hank the American Engine, or Hank the Giant Engine.
And he's strong, and he is American, and that's it.
I mean, he's painted in the U.S. colors, like red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
But I do really like Hank. I've written a couple stories about Hank in the past, which were very out of character for Hank. I'm not going to lie.
What were they about? I haven't watched them in a while.
It was about Hank pulling. It was a rewrite of Henry and the Wishing Tree, but it was just replace Henry with Hank, and that's so out of character for Hank.
Yeah.
Because Hank is probably one of the most patient engines on Sodor, because he puts up with Thomas's bullshit for an entire day, and he's still willing to help him. He goes along. He just helps Thomas out. So I really like Hank. I really do. I think he could work very well.
He reminds me of Rocky, actually.
A lot of the Hitler characters are almost just Chads, like Hank.
Yeah.
I know I called Rocky a Chad. I know I called some other guy a Chad. But Hank, he is like a definition of a Chad. He's like really muscular guy who just wants to help people. He's just calm and chill.
But what I would have done. You know what I would find interesting for somebody to do with Hank? Like, Hank is a heavy goods engine.
Yeah.
In the hit era, Henry is the heavy goods engine.
Yeah.
What I would have done is maybe an episode where Henry feels threatened by Hank.
That could be something.
Maybe that, and that Henry's worried, oh no, I'll get demoted to lower jobs because Hank is so much stronger than me. And then they learn to work together, and Henry learns that Hank isn't there to replace, but there to help. And they learn to work together.
Or maybe Hank sees that Henry is worried that Hank might replace him, so Hank deliberately starts breaking down and taking the smaller jobs to Henry. But then that ends up making Henry have to take all the really heavy trains, and then Henry breaks down, and now both Henry and Hank are broken down, and then Hank learns that maybe sometimes you have to just talk. And then
they apologize to each other.
Like, Henry, I'm sorry I was like so big and strong while you're so small and weak. Hank, that's mean. Sorry, buddy. I'm from America.
We like big things.
I also like how Hank has a welcome party. I don't know which other characters has a welcome party.
Flora? No, that's for Great Waterton. That's a different thing.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's Hank.
He's just a cool guy. With a lot of the season 12 characters, I have nothing to add. Just like Flora, who exists.
I think Flora, honestly, is the most nothing character in the hit era. There is... literally, all she does is follow Thomas around like a dog.
Unlike Hank,
Flora was happy to see. Flora was happy when Thomas said that they were going to see Toby. Oh no, Flora! I forgot something I forgot to do this job. Flora was confused. Okay, Thomas. Sorry, but Flora.
Yeah.
No, there's absolutely nothing in Flora. No.
That is why I would completely rework Flora into being an almost not bossy like Emily, but like kind of like James, where she's like very self-obsessed,
kind of cocky.
Very cocky. Like I look at her face and the way she has a lot of makeup and stuff. I know that is to like identify like, oh, she's female, guys. She's female.
She would be friends with Daisy.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
She would be friends with Daisy, and you know. Honestly,
I was about to like compare her to Daisy and say like she wears makeup, so therefore I would like compare her to Daisy, and maybe I would even pair them both up. Maybe they share like makeup and stuff.
You know, I think pairing her up with Toby would work, but I think Toby would get pretty annoyed with her eventually.
Yeah, that's the exact thing. I think Flora would work on the Farquhar branch now for like a little bit, but then, and she would be very excited to meet Toby because like that's another steam tram. But then Toby would be like, bye, I don't really care. I have my coach. You can fuck off. Then Flora
I think Toby would just ignore her, and Flora would try to get Toby's attention and would get annoyed by the fact that he doesn't give her attention. I think she's an attention seeker, and
very much so, and she wants to get attention by the other steam tram.
Eventually, something conspires that they get in a conversation about the old days because she's a steam tram, Toby's a steam tram. They have some common ground there. And maybe through that they bond, and maybe they're not the best of friends, but Toby learns to appreciate Flora.
Oof, your microphone, what happened?
Did you hear anything I said?
Your microphone it sounded like it fell.
Oh, sorry. There we go.
But
I think I know where my mic is.
I don't think Flora and Toby would become friends. I think
no, that's
Flora
not
would
what
try
I'm
to
saying.
I think Flora would try to get Toby's attention because it's not a steam tram, but then her attention would be redirected towards Daisy, and then they two would be gossiping together, and I think they would be real gossip girls together. I think they would just chill together, stay in the shed, have sleepovers and stuff, talk about everything and the stuff, and they would be really good friends, I think. And then maybe because I think Flora and Daisy would be kind of like the average quote-unquote popular girl at a high school or something. Like that type.
Yeah.
Looking down on everyone, having a lot of makeup and stuff. Maybe Flora is actually really insecure about the fact that she's a steam tram, and the reason she wants to be friends with Toby is to not feel so insecure. But Toby doesn't understand this, so he just says "fuck off." And then maybe Toby talks to Henriette, and Henriette's like, "Toby," and Toby's like, "Oh, sorry, Henriette, I'll go and talk to her." And then maybe Toby can become a father figure to Flora, which was not what I interpreted them as a child. As a child, I used to ship Toby and Flora because they were both tram engines. That was how my brain worked. If they were similar,
I don't blame you. I shipped Gordon and Molly. I shipped
Gordon
James
and Molly.
Don't question it. There were two big engines, and my brain was just like, oh. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's better than what I shipped with Gordon, which was Gordon and Henry.
No, actually, that's not too bad.
Because as a child, I used to think Henry was female.
I think I've shipped Emily and James, of course. Everybody does that. But I think I also shipped Thomas and Percy at one point, but I could be wrong about that.
My face when you said that went completely. What? Anyway, that's enough about Flora.
No, but the thing is, I'm not sure about it. Now, let's get to Colin.
Who is the final character to talk about, and I have absolutely nothing to say. He is a crane. He talks to Freddy. Freddy is nice to him.
And that's it.
Then, yeah.
I also don't really know what to do.
All I can say about Colin is that Colin, along with Hank, Flora, and Dennis, are the only characters introduced in the hit entertainment era without a capsule playrail toy.
Oh, and you want a capsule playrail, Dennis.
According to John Lee, Colin was originally supposed to have a longer nose, but it was scaled down for merchandising.
That's something to talk about with Colin.
I mean, yeah. His nose is pretty long.
You know what is still surprising? Colin is a stationary crane. So tracking a face on Colin isn't that difficult. So why did they create 8 faceplates for him?
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe he was meant to appear in an earlier season.
No, I don't think so. It's just the model crew being too overambitious and making everything. The only thing
Freaky
I can
Colin.
note is that... Yeah, that's the only thing I can note. I just like Colin's freaky face when he has his tongue out like Freaky Colin.
I love that face so much.
It is a pretty cool face. And I do like his gasping face. That's also a funny face. And his cocky face when he has one eyebrow raised. I'm looking at the faces now. They are pretty funny. But other than that, I have nothing to say about Colin. He's just the crane at the wharf. Yeah, I'm just looking at Colin's concept art, and I'm looking at his nose, and like, oh my god, they were not lying.
Wait, let me check. Actually, I haven't seen it actually.
I can send it to you. I'm gonna send you the image of his nose.
Just
look at
Colin's
that! Look at that concept art.
Oh, I remember that one.
Look at that nose. That's the only thing of value Colin has is his nose. Like, if he and Duck were in a nose measuring competition, I think Nolan would win. Colin would win the nose.
I have to be honest with you. I kind of like that face more than the CGI face they gave him. I really like that one. Let me check behind the scenes. No, gallery. I want to check gallery.
I find it funny how Colin got so much merchandise.
No, that's because he is a simple crane to make.
Yeah, but why?
What back is James? Of Colin.
What is James sorts it out? Oh, it was Colin appeared in a book that was published in 2014. That is interesting.
Yeah. Colin crane drop ride at the Little Big Club. There was a Colin ride.
Colin dropped paint onto James.
I really want the Truckmaster Colin. I don't know why. I just like it.
James worked with Colin. That is interesting.
That is interesting. And we've just passed 2 hours.
Yeah, with that, I have nothing more to add.
Is there any character we can give Colin? Because I'm surprised that we get how much character we actually gave to Flora.
Yeah, but then Colin, he's the crane at the wharf. I think he smokes weed. I think he just like... I think Colin is like the... Hey, man.
Colin is a hippie. Colin is a hippie.
He's a hippie. He just stands like... Fred is like, hey, Colin, I threw you a surprise. Thanks, man.
That's really kind of you, you know?
Yeah, man.
You know, Freddy, you're my best friend. You know that, Freddy? Oh, yeah.
I only just met you.
No, but I feel like we have this special connection together, you know? Something I don't have with any other engine and any other crane. I don't think I've even met another crane. Do you know other cranes, Freddy?
Well, there are plenty of cranes at the wharf. This one right beside you.
Oh, wow. Oh, what is your name?
Hey, man.
Oh.
My name's Caitlin.
Let's not go into the Caitlin jokes. No.
Okay, with
that, I think that's the end of this episode. This was a real doozy, and it was pretty long, but I really enjoyed it, and I had more to talk about, which was
just
really
like
nice.
Just like Colin's nose, it was pretty long. So yeah,
I think that's the end of the episode.
Yeah,
Yay.
It was fun.
It was fun. I enjoyed it. Anyway, we hope to see you in the next episode, whatever that will be.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.